Ooh, it better work. It better work.
Sorry.
Ooh, work. Ooh.
Work. Meeting is now streaming. I'm just waiting for the okay. Up, I see it. I will share it. I'll share it on my page.
Mm-hmm.
Share it.
Yeah, we're live right now. People are looking at us.
Okay. Who? Like who? Who's looking at us?
That I don't know. I don't pay attention to them. Hold on. Let me see. There you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome to In Bed with Comics. I'm your host, Kristen Tinsley. Oh, I can still hear you talking.
So professional.
Word. All right, there we go. All right. Hey, everybody out there. What's up? Welcome to another episode of In Bed with Comics. So to start things off, we start with a little story about who we got here with us tonight. Once upon a time, there was a funny-ass comic that made people laugh on all the comedy stages across the land. Then one day, he stood too close to the TV and got sucked into an FDA commercial about the new nutrition labels. He was even on the Wendy Williams show. And he stars in the award-winning web series Anya Marina, Indie-pendent Woman. You can also see him in shows Roxanne, Who Shot Biggie and Tupac, and The Get Down. Please welcome to In Bed with Comics, Nigel Alexander Ferguson. I am unmuting you.
Ferguson? It's Fullerton.
That's a joke. Did I unmute
Thank you
you
for having me. Did
You're
you?
welcome. I got you. Talk. Can I hear you?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear you.
I remember the first time I met you, somebody called you Ferguson. That was a joke.
Did they?
They did. And then I remember you got on
I should have
stage.
punched in the face. I've never heard it.
It's definitely happened before. And you got on stage and you were like,
my God.
It happened to me too. Like sometimes people call me Kristen Kingsley, and I'm like, Kristen Kingsley? Like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, come on, like Kingsley. That just sounds like a very
you know what? You know what? You grew on me because if I don't know your name, then I don't know anyone's name. If I know your name, then you're a winner in my book.
Exactly. You cannot. There's no. I don't even remember how did we even first meet? I don't even remember.
No clue. I don't remember anything.
I don't remember. I don't think we were on a show. Gina, you'll be on Thursday. I don't.
Oh, I know. I know where.
Where?
It was Renee's show.
The High Mom show?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that was definitely, yeah, I remember. And then I don't really see you that much. I think, which one of my shows did you do?
Blimpin' Ain't Easy, or one of those shows.
Fat version, yeah, the fat version.
I don't know. Why do you name your shows that? I don't understand.
I just try to stick with like interesting types of themes and stuff like that. I try to keep because we started off with Vagisilly. When me and Chris
I would be good for that one.
Vagisilly, Vagispooky. So there's always going to be a fat version. There's always going to be, but Blimpin' Ain't Easy is actually Fat Jay's was his suggestion when we did the fat version. So that it just kind of took off from there. So every year going forward, I'm definitely going to have a different fat version. But everybody loved that pie eating contest. Well, the titty eating contest. Everybody loved that.
Yeah. Well,
everybody was like, "When are you doing that again? When are you doing that again?"
Obviously, they've never eaten pie before, and I'm using pie as a euphemism.
Yeah, I wasn't going out and spending all that money on pies because I think Eli was like, "Are you gonna go out and buy all these pies?" And I was gonna go get like the little Hostess
Right.
pies and stuff. But even then, that would cost me like well over like $100 just for some pies. I'd rather give the money to somebody. So I think Birdman and Olivia London won $20 each for eating all the whipped
Okay.
cream and eating the chocolate titty as fast as they possibly could.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
Yeah. No,
That would have been all in my beard.
Oh my God, yeah. Wow, it was fun. So let's get the first
What's going
question.
on? All right, let's do this. I'm ready. I'm
it.
excited.
Ready for the
I'm
questions?
well, I'm also trying to sell some things on your show right now.
Me too. You see that fat girl swallow?
I
And you
love
got the
it.
Coca-Cola shirt on?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
it
trying to make
has a
some
double
money.
meaning. Yeah. It has a double meaning, as fat girls like to eat and, some fat girls swallow. I don't know. I'm not shy about that. What's up, Justin McDonald's?
What's going on, Struggle?
What's going on? Crystal, Johnny McDonald watching. Oh boy. All right. So on a scale from 1 to 10, Nigel, how much do you like stand-up comedy?
Johnny McDonald will say a 6.
No, he wouldn't say that. What would you say?
Probably a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
Which you like? I mean, you've done quite a bit of acting. I mean,
yeah, I've done quite a bit of stand-up also. So I've been doing it for a long time. That's why you don't see me as much, because I don't like, at this point you get a little jaded. But
okay.
I like it. Probably like it comes and goes. Some days I really, really love it. Some days I'm like, I can't believe this shit. I can
What's
say
the
shit on
most
this.
jaded experience you've ever had? Like, what
Hmm.
was the one point where you're like, you know what, I'm done with stand up. I'm done with everything.
It was at a comedy club. I won't say the name.
No names on this show.
But I got bumped
Ooh.
with somebody else who was like, who likes to, I don't like, the thing about me, like, I don't like kiss ass. I don't like to, quote unquote, I don't suck dick. That's what I say all the time. But I know you swallow too. So what happened was, like, I came to the show and like they always told me hang out. And I was like, all right, I'll hang out, but you already know me. Like, you've seen me before. Like, we're cool. We're on a first name basis. I've known you for years.
Right.
But you want me to hang out, you'll book me, whatever, fine. So I hang out and I do, show face and do all these things, jump through hoops. And then I go to the show. I'm hanging on the back. And then I'm told that I can't go up. I'm like, all right, that happens once. Then it happens again. And then I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna let this happen a third time. So I just walked off, because like at the end of the day, a lot of these comedy clubs are just gyms. You're not gonna get famous off of the comedy club.
No,
you're gonna get famous from something else that you do. So that's why I act.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's definitely, you kind of have to have range. It's a given. You can't just do comedy. You have to, move on to different things and be able to. Did you ever take any acting classes?
Nah.
No? You
No,
just went
not in the
organically?
beginning. Not in the beginning, no. I took like improv. I went to UCB for a couple of years.
Okay.
I took sketch and improv there, but that's it. Everything else is just personality.
Yeah, me too. Like, I took an acting class in college. I hated it. And I loved it, but I mean, I also hated it because it didn't really teach me anything. Like, I'm not going to learn anything reading like Shakespeare plays. Like, you're not going to get me on stage like doing some like Shakespeare sonnet, like teach me how to like really do some acting,
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
it depends. What kind of class was it?
It was just regular like acting 101. I had to take it as a credit.
Acting?
Huh?
It was intro to acting, and they gave you Shakespeare?
Acting. Yep. Yeah.
That's weird.
That's what they were giving us. And then we had to come up, we had to write our own play.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, well, now you're speaking my language, because I can write plays and screenplays and all that stuff. Like, that was always like, writing is my first love. Mm-hmm. So even if I never get into acting, I definitely intend on, pushing. That's why I had said to you earlier, if I had the option, I would definitely cast you as being a dad in a movie. I think you'd be great at.
I don't want to be Anthony Anderson.
Right, he's funny.
Why can't I be like the love interest in something like, or why can't I be a superhero? I gotta
Come
be the
on,
dad.
man. You know that the love interest is always the blonde guy. Come on, you know that.
Hey, what about Idris Elba?
You know, as a matter of fact,
See?
now you've got my writer wheel turning. I could write a script like that. I could.
See?
I could do that. I could do that. Because it's, you know, I mean, there's so many different platforms to put films out there now that I kind of feel like we need something different. You know,
You can make a Quibi.
Yeah, I mean, we never get to play, you know, like the love interest at all ever. So we're always the ones that are chasing the people. It's kind of like, well, why can't I? Or it's some sort of magical spell that they drink some toilet water or something and automatically like fall in love with like people that like are not.
Wait. Who's drinking toilet water? What's going on?
I'm just saying. I don't want to be cliche. You know, they go to some like Indian voodoo doctor. And he's like, like you all of a sudden like Shallow Hal. You know, like come on, really, man.
That's the worst movie ever.
All right. I like that movie, but I was kind of watching. I'm like, all right, this is a little unrealistic because she just flipped a thong in your face that was the size of a sheet, and you had to like roll it up, and like you didn't see like that it was the size of a tent. Man, come on.
Wait, you didn't you liked that movie?
I liked it just because first of all, Tony Robbins was in it.
Okay.
And second of all, like I like the meaning behind it. You know, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I feel like they missed the point
on that movie. I feel like they definitely missed the point. I think they stuck to more fat jokes. Yeah. Then it's kind of like the fat version of Soul Man. Remember Soul Man? Yeah. It's C. Thomas Howell in blackface, but he's doing it as a fat woman. That's what it is.
Well, that's the thing with screenwriting. You know, you kind of take an old concept and put something new on it. You know, so if you're able to do that, you know, where it's like we were talking about Ladybugs before.
Ladybugs. I love it, but it's super inappropriate. Like that's the worst movie to show anyone.
I'm like, well, I haven't seen that movie in years, and you know, obviously, rest in peace, Jonathan Brandis. I mean, what an actor to lose. I thought Jonathan Brandis was great. You know, I think that if he were alive today, he would definitely be, you know, probably something really good. I mean,
but that was a pedophile movie.
It was total pedophile. But Rodney Dangerfield was awesome in that movie.
But he played a pedophile. Funny. I'm sorry.
He did. He was a little, but he always kind of crossed the line. It wasn't, you know.
I know, but the bad part about it, the joke was that he came off as a pedophile. Yeah. It wasn't that he isn't, because we know he's not. But there were pedophile jokes in the movie.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. But that was the 90s. You could get away with saying stuff like that. Like now it would be like, you can't say that. You can't say that on this TV show. It's crazy.
You can't even get that movie greenlit right now.
No, would never happen. All right. So speaking of Rodney Dangerfield and like comics, do you have like a favorite comic that inspired you, whether they're famous or not famous?
Sinbad. Sinbad's one.
He never gets picked.
He never, and nobody ever gives Sinbad the respect. To be honest, and I say this all the time, and Johnny, if he's watching,
he is.
Okay, I always say this: Sinbad had the highest viewed stand-up special on HBO, probably to this day.
Wow.
Probably to this day. If you look at the Sinbad specials he had three that were just straight stand-up, and then 4 of them were stand-up and music.
Okay.
Highest viewed on HBO.
Wow.
For like 6 summers.
I think that with him, stand-up was good, but when he transitioned over to acting, it didn't really go too well because I feel like they gave him a lot of really corny roles. Nothing really comes to mind.
Well, let's be honest. Name a great actor that's a stand-up comedian. Pure stand-up. I'll wait. Red Cups, y'all.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy got that way. But if you look at his like his first movie, like if you look at 48 Hours,
Yeah.
there's times when he pauses. The only reason why he shines so great because he was using his personality.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's probably the only one that you can think of. Nobody else.
Richard Pryor.
He wasn't the best. He wasn't the best actor at first.
Not at first, but he
Not
got
at first. It
got
took
better
time.
at it. He got better at it. Let me think who
Mhm.
else. If anyone else out there has somebody that we're missing, definitely hit us up and let us know, because I can only think of a couple. I mean, Wanda Sykes, I'm not going to leave my ladies out. Wanda Sykes is an excellent at stand-up and also excellent at acting with flawless.
Right, but she also comes from like a sketch
Monique.
background as well.
Monique also.
Monique, a great actress. I'm sorry.
In some things.
Okay.
Some things. I mean, you know, obviously, what was that movie where she played that crazy mother? Oh God, what the hell was the name of that movie?
The name of the movie is Precious.
Precious.
And as somebody who's a fat advocate, you should know that movie.
It wasn't all about being fat, but I mean that
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But she did
Precious,
run away with a bucket of gin.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Holds on that back. We've holds on that. You know, I've definitely done that.
I've done it too.
I've done it. I mean, especially at that age, like where your mother's like, you're not getting any more candy, and I would just steal it from the grocery store. Yeah. Still not allowed to pass mark.
Yeah, I'm the first person to say Sinbad on here.
All right, so
Sinbad's a horrible actor too.
Who?
Sinbad?
He's hard. He's pretty horrible. But I think that, you know, if he were to do something now, you know, maybe it would be better. But I mean,
he did do something now. And
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. No. Kevin Hart is. When I watched that documentary, I was like, wow. Yeah. Like, did you really need to make a documentary about how you fucked up your life?
I mean, I didn't at it like that. I looked at it as this person's work ethic. I looked at it as this is what he's doing behind the scenes. I didn't really look at it as it was all stuff I knew already. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't anything I didn't know. So the only thing that was intriguing to me is just him 24/7 building something behind the scenes rather than just seeing the fruits of it. Like, I don't really care for his specials right now, but watching all the work that he puts into it, okay, that guy's a hard worker.
Yeah. All right. If you had to name a famous comic that had a really bad scandal, who deserve, and this could be a non-famous comic also.
Okay.
Who had the biggest scandal of their comedy career? Who would you pick?
Oh, I have to say
famous or non-famous. And I can tell by your smile.
Non-famous,
you know what I'm thinking about.
Frick. Sorry, Frick.
We're not getting out of
Frick,
this
you are hard to defend, dude. You are hard to defend.
We are not getting. I remember, like, actually, yeah, I remember.
Scandal?
Yeah, that was quite a scandal.
Scandal?
So he wins multiple prizes for that. I don't think it ruined his career, but I
don't know. I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't. I don't know. I mean, I remember you going on that show right after the whole video came out. And
remember what I said?
No, see, that's the thing, because I didn't get any audio on that, so I couldn't hear anything that you were saying. And I was desperately, and I had actually heard that video before everybody else did. Mm-hmm. And I'm a mixed person, and when I heard that, I was like, well, I know exactly how you meant that, and that's fucked up, Frick. You know what I mean? But
I'll talk about that.
What did you say?
All right, so basically, from what I remember, because it was like almost 2 years ago, I think now, or
a year ago in February.
A year ago. All right,
on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, I was there, and that's the thing. I told him. Yeah, I told him that. I was like, "Yo, I was there," and for you to say the N-word about that guy, and you never specified which N-word, because I was hanging out with all the N-words that night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I even took a picture with him that night. So, anywho, basically, long story short, what I told him was that I wasn't mad at him. I was disappointed. And I was disappointed for a couple of reasons. Okay. So I hit the nail on the head when I told him that, like, you know, it's just, I know you were drunk. I know you were pissed off. I know you were like, whatever you were on, because he could have been on something else, whatever.
I don't know.
You just sounded like a sucker, to be honest. You sounded like this girl was hanging out with some black guy and wasn't giving you no play. And now all you can do is try to tear him down because you ain't in those.
Because you, right, exactly, because you didn't. And then it was, you know, and then leading into the other part of it, you know, like later on, you know, all the other stuff that we found out, you know.
Well, I also said, I mean, and that same night I said, I'm more concerned about the way that you treat women.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you move like a predator. Mm-hmm. I said that on the show. And I said, I need you to do better. That's what the whole time I said, I need you to do better. I need you to not say racial slurs when you're drunk.
Right.
I need you to not try to drive women home and try to have sex with them. I need you to do better. Right. That's all. And I need, like I said, for any, like, and I said that for anybody watching. And, you know, he kind of shrugged in the seat, you know, didn't really say much, but, you know, I basically borderline called him a predator.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I agree 100%. And then there were things that happened afterwards with, you know, a couple other comics. Mm-hmm. And, you know, where where that situation came about. And that's what was really like ultimately the downfall of everything. Huh?
Stuff that happened before that. That's why I said it.
Right. It happened. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know? And it happens at a Halloween party as well. So it was.
Yeah, I heard about that too. You know,
there was a couple of things that had happened. And, you know, I feel like this is the start of one of those like things where something's going to happen later on down the road. And we're all going to be like, told you. So I just hope that, listen, you know.
If he's watching, like I hope, like I said, I just hope he does better. I mean, you know, that's all I can say. Like, you know, if everybody's saying something, you know,
then there's something wrong. You know, there's a fine line between a rumor, and just hearing that something happened, and then actually have it happen. Not to me personally, but somebody I knew. And a couple other people that I knew, to have it happen and to have them come to me and say, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right.
Or the same accusation keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like maybe you might want to change your approach. I'm just saying.
Just, you know, kind of just try to get consent. But I don't know. I mean, it's a sticky situation. It shouldn't have happened, but it was definitely one thing that put a damper on. You know, even from the N-word video, it really did put a damper and a divide in the comedy community because everybody found out about that video.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to defend somebody who keeps screwing up. Like, I really want better for him because he's never been racist to me. He's never tried to rape me either, but he's never been racist toward me. So like, you know, like I believe in redemption on people, like with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people can be redeemed. Okay. But you have to allow it. And what I told him about his apology, because he kept saying he apologized. And I was like, okay, cool. But you still have to do the work. You still have to be an upstanding person. You still have to show people that you are different.
Right.
You know, because people are not just going to take your word for it. People are going to look at your actions. And if your actions aren't lining up with what you're saying, then
you're not
supposed to believe.
Right, you're not doing a lot. You know, it's embarrassing to have something like that happen. It's definitely a lot more embarrassing for the women involved.
Yeah,
because
I spoke to two of them.
Right.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing to have something like that happen, and as a woman, you know, in this business, you don't know what you're going to come again, you know, across. Right. And one of the main reasons why I started doing producing my own shows is so that I wouldn't ever have to deal with those types of politics. Where it's like, okay, well, you're not a woman that we want to fuck per se, so we're just gonna maybe give you a spot. So I figured, okay, I'm just gonna make my own spot. Like that's why
I was always different. Like when I produced, I would always give. I didn't care who it was. Like I would give you a shot regardless. Like I always made sure that I had at least more than one woman on a show. Because a lot of these shows on Long Island look like a 10-man gangbang.
It's true. There's a lot
it looks like the Houston 500 half the time, and I'm like, yo.
There's a lot, but there's a lot of like, there's a couple of young female comics that I've come across and I've met, and then a lot of the, the older comics, they're mothers and they have children, and for them to have to do a show, they got to hire a babysitter, So I try to make it as easy as possible, and I do, pay people this way, they're getting something. But I would never, if a comic comes to me, and some of them do, they'll come to me and say, Kristen, you got a spot, or you're walking. I've even told you, you want a spot, come down. Like, I don't care. Like, it's stage time. I've given up my stage time for people. I don't mind that, I don't like to be like cliquey. I don't like to be like, oh, I only hang out with, even though sometimes it may seem that way. Yeah. But, I have my core people that I hang out with, but those are my friends. You know what I mean? They're my friends as well as fellow comics. So, however that, works out, it works out, Yeah,
but I don't do the whole clicky thing. Like, I ain't part of a squad. No shots, anybody. I've always been a loner, you know what I mean? Like, and I've tried to be friends with people, and I feel like I'm friends with people, but I always get left off everyone's list. So it's like, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing because it's working for me.
You will never be left off of my list because you actually, when you judged me and put up Shut Up or Stand Up, that was probably the most nerve-wracking night that I had.
Why?
Because first of all, I did not know what Put Up, Shut Up or Stand Up was going to turn into. I just thought it was just going to be, one show. That was it. I'm going against Justin. We tied, and that was it. And I didn't know that it was going to turn into this whole thing.
I wanted you to win.
I wanted to win too, but it wasn't meant to be. They didn't have my t-shirt size there. I knew right away as soon as I walked in that I wasn't going to win. They only had a small t-shirt. I'm not kidding you. They did. So I knew right away I wasn't winning. So, but it wasn't.
Justin wasn't winning either. He can't fit a small t-shirt.
No. They didn't give us t-shirts during that time. They just kicked us out. They were like, get out, after the race. But when you had actually worked with me and you showed me how to structure a joke, it became a lot easier for me to be able to do that. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's like writing an essay. No one ever like sat me down and said, okay, this is how you do that. Like right before that, it was all just shooting from the head and, you know what I mean? Just being Kristen, I wasn't.
No one ever taught me that either. Like when I first started, I was like 19 years old. Okay. So I tell a lot of people this because I made all the mistakes in comedy. I was 19 years old. I would write the jokes that I had for that night, and I would go on stage, and every time I went on stage, it was a new joke. I didn't retain any of those jokes.
Yeah.
And because it's not crafting anything. You're not building an act. All you're doing is, let's talk about what's going on today. And like, and I was young and I was cocky and like I was in the city every weekend. And I was just trying, like, at the time when I first got into comedy, I was hanging out with I would hang out with Lisa Lampanelli.
Ooh, I would hang out with,
it was weird. I've told the story dozens of times about how I met her, but like I was around the comedy circuit a lot. Yeah. And before I wanted to do comedy, like I was watching everything I could, and I was cocky and I was brash, and I would see comedians I didn't know, and I would like talk shit. like if they were like doing comedy for 20 years and we're on the same show, like I was like, oh, Richard Jenny, who's that? He's old.
You don't know who you're talking to sometimes.
Don't know who you're talking to.
You have no idea who you're talking to.
I did that before. I did that before. Like I bombed in front of Richard Jenny, and I talked so much trash about this man. And like, cause somebody told me, I said, what was he in? They were like, he was in The Mask. I'm like, The Mask? Jim Carrey?
Yeah, like, sometimes you don't know.
I'm like, yo, but the problem is that who else do you know that's in The Mask? Cameron Diaz?
That's it. That's it.
So I was talking so much trash about this man, and then I bombed right in front of him. He got up and tore the room apart. And then I went home and I studied and I watched everything he's done. And like, I was like, yo, this guy is a legend. Like, he wrote jokes for Chris Rock when Chris Rock was doing the Grammys. Was the Grammy? No, the Oscars.
Okay.
You know, so like, there's certain things and stuff that you learn. Like, I feel like I had a point here, but I forgot what it was. Forgive me.
So would you ever take a job writing jokes? Okay, if you had to make a choice, say you had to make a choice, you could be a famous comic that's well known all around the world and make a mediocre salary. Okay. Or you could write jokes for somebody and make millions of dollars per year. Which would you pick? But you would get no recognition at all for it at all. What would you pick?
See, this is tough. I'll tell you why it's tough.
I know.
Because I don't want to be famous.
Okay.
At all. But I do want to be on TV. so I want you to know who I am, but I don't want you to hound me for a signature or something like that.
Yeah, that level of fame is
I never want to be Kevin Hart. I never want to be Kevin. I don't want to be Kevin Hart. I don't want to be Eminem. Like, I don't want to be anybody that famous that you can't go to the bathroom. Right.
Where it's like, you know, they want to follow you. They want to know everything, because that means just more people coming for you.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be.
You would rather be the guy that writes the jokes.
I would. Yes, I would. But I also would want to be on television. So like my whole life, like, I've always wanted to be on television. So it's like, you know, like, that's what happened for me as a stand-up. Like, I was like, why don't you just push yourself toward doing TV rather than doing the jokes? I do the jokes because I like telling jokes, but I want to be on TV. Right. So my efforts should be pushed toward TV more than stand-up.
All right, I'm not shy about this. I've worked in film. I've been on film sets, and some of them are funner than others.
Yeah.
I actually met the actor Corey Hawkins before he was like big time. Corey Hawkins, and
from Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. He had like a cam. I remember being in the movie theater watching one of those. What the hell is that superhero movie? See, I'm a girl. I blank on these things.
Oh, there's a lot of them, so you gotta pick one.
With Downey Jr.
There's a lot of them with Downey Jr., so you got to pick one.
The one with the mask, and he's flying all over the place, and
he plays Iron Man, but he's in like,
he had a cameo in Iron Man, and I'm sitting in the movie theater, and I was like,
which Iron Man?
Corey. So every time I see him now, it's like, oh my God, it's Corey, and I remember meeting him.
Oh, that's cool.
I did a short film. I was a production assistant. It was probably one of the worst sets ever, but JP Chan was the director, and it was called Digital Antiques. And it was about like being able to retrieve information from old like DVDs and stuff like in the future to try to put together this puzzle between like this brother and sister. It was a crazy, crazy short movie, but I loved it. And I got to meet him and I got to hang out with him and talk to him. And I said, one day I can tell you're going to be up there. You're going to be famous. Sure enough. I mean, he went to Juilliard.
Now you just got to say that to me.
I already told you. You got to play the dancing nutrition label, and I'm a holistic nutritionist. I was totally happy. I was dancing too. People are gonna start paying attention to nutritional labels now.
So check this out. I played Biggie, Bismarcky, and Africa Bambaataa, and the one thing that you said that you love is that I was a dancing box of crackers. Okay.
How did they pick the costume for you? They just said, "Oh man, look at that! He would make a really good dancing box." That's ironic that they had a black man playing a dancing box of crackers.
Yeah. So this is what happened. So this is for everybody. This is what happened, right? I didn't know I was going to be a box of crackers. So when I auditioned, they said they were going to have a costume for me. They didn't say what it was going to be. So they didn't fly me. I took a train to DC, right? Got me a hotel room, train ticket, whatever. I get to wardrobe and I see that I'm a big box of crackers. And I'm like, and then not only that, it was the hottest box I've ever, like, it was the hottest costume ever. Like, what it was underneath, they put some foam to make the thing balanced. So it cut off all air coming in there. So in that box, I'm a pile of sweat.
Oh my God.
I'm a pile, like, I'm wearing a vest full of ice cubes inside of the box.
Soggy crackers.
Every 5 minutes, my face was like drenched with sweat.
Oh my God.
Everyone felt bad for me. I couldn't see out my peripherals. I couldn't see anything.
And you pulled it off flawless, and you would never even know that happened. And that's the beauty of acting. You just
there's a lot of makeup on my face.
Yeah, sometimes you get. I'm surprised they didn't use. I think you use dry shampoo. I saw one of the drag queens do it because I'm always working with the drag queens all the time. I love them. I think you spray you spray antiperspirant on your face like a Dove or whatever, and it keeps you from sweating. Just so you know.
Or like, I use powder.
You could use powder, but for some reason, like the Dove sprayable deodorant, you spray that on your face, and it keeps you from sweating with your makeup off. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want that on my eyes.
I know, me neither.
That's cool. So, what was the first movie that you did? What was the first big thing that you did?
First big thing that I did as far as movies go?
Yeah. Or TV. We're all waiting.
I know. I wouldn't say anything like film-wise because I always did a lot of independent films.
Okay.
I never did like mainstream, but I did have Nora Ephron as a mentor.
Okay.
I did work with Eli Roth and Quentin Tarantino, helping them fix a couple of screenplays that they got.
Okay.
So that was probably definitely the biggest things that I've ever done.
Did you geek out? Did you
No.
Go a little crazy? No.
No.
You wouldn't?
You didn't have time for that. You did not. You didn't have time for that. It was kind of like, all right, we need you to take a look at this screenplay. We're going to talk to you about it. We're going to see what your ideas are. I didn't have time to. I mean, Quentin Tarantino obviously was a little, but I mean, it was just crazy. And then there was, but I mean, I would like to work in bigger films, but I made the decision not to because you become such a small ant. And I just, and plus timing is also, because when I started working in film, a lot of things had changed. Right. Where you had to be a production assistant, and if you couldn't get credit by being in college, they wouldn't take you. Like working for HBO, like I wanted to work for HBO documentary. It sucks. Like once I graduated from Hunter College in 2009, and as soon as I graduated, everything I learned was obsolete. So I mean, I couldn't keep up with the technology that was there. So to work the camera, I mean, I didn't want to be a production assistant telling where to go, traffic and stuff like that and all that. I wanted to do more like script supervisor. I've done special effects makeup on, a couple of things. My friend Courtney, she's done, a couple of like short films and stuff like that, So I've done makeup for that, but I mean, I'd like to get into it more, but writing is definitely more my area.
I started interning, right? I interned for BET when I was like 17, and I interned for this show called 106 in Park.
I love that show.
And I learned a lot of stuff about the entertainment industry. They don't care about what degree you have. It's all about who you know. It's all about who you
work for free. Yep, and if you'll work for free.
Exactly. And I worked for free for BET for like 2 years.
Right. And where did it get you? You know what I mean? And that was another thing that I learned.
Nowhere.
You know, just it got me nowhere. And I realized that when I saw a lot of the bullshit and I saw like a lot of like the ass kissing and stuff like that went on, that's just not my personality. Like I'm not the type of person I'm not gonna kiss your ass. Like I worked for B-Side Entertainment. I was, you know, an intern there. I was, you know, working in kind of like the acquisitions department. So I got a lot of screenplays, not a lot of screenplays, a lot of DVDs that you'll see now, like the Bill Withers documentary, Ain't No Sunshine. I found that. There was, you know, a couple of other, you know, DVDs that when B-Side tanked, they put everything on Showtime.
Oh, okay.
So I've done that, and that's when I really learned about like the ugly side of distribution and you know how. And it's a lot of it's changed now because they used to just have you pop in a DVD. If the quality didn't look right, it immediately got rejected. And then from there I moved on to, you know, doing a lot of script reading. I've read thousands and thousands of scripts, thousands. And to this day, I've only ever seen maybe 2 or 3 of them actually get made. It's sad. Yeah. It's really sad. When people put their work out there, and you know, the slightest thing can get you rejected. It's really that bad. I actually have a screenplay that I finished.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear about.
The 21st Century Guide to Bachelorhood. It's actually a book. You can get it on Amazon. It's about how to be a bachelor in the 21st century.
And starring me, right? See?
You know what? As a matter of fact, I could do whatever I want. But yeah, I do have roles in there for anybody. I could change anything that I want.
So let's do it. Why don't we do that? Why don't we try this? I mean, whenever this epidemic is over, I did want to
have a read of it because I've had the screenplay in my possession for a while. I took that book and adapted into a screenplay. And now that I have, you know, I've done, you know, some things in comedy. I've met different types of people. My world is different now. I could probably and there's some funny shit in there. I could probably take it and change it and make it better, and then push it forward and sell it, because the lawyer that's attached to it wants to do like production himself. Because it's like, if you want to get a movie made, you can put it out there to as many producers as you want, but if you don't have like a major star and like $1 million attached to it, it's just not going to happen. You need to, it's not going to happen. You need to definitely, you know, put it out there. But people are going to be hungry for work. People are going to be hungry for new things. This is going to be a really big change to the entertainment industry, because a lot of people that were in there solid as a rock, you know, making whatever salaries, you know, they'll get somebody in there that's, you know, that's cheaper. They're going to be looking for different types of people. So we have that to look forward to. I'm really happy about that. You know?
They better be looking for different types of people.
They better be looking for this girl right here.
Hey, what else you got for me?
What's the set that you do that everybody loves, or a joke that just absolutely kills it every time? I already know my favorite joke.
It's probably the Panera Bread joke.
That's my favorite joke.
Yeah, it's probably the Panera Bread joke.
How did you think of that joke?
It happened. Happened. Tell you where. It was Walt Whitman Mall, Panera Bread.
You know what? And that's exactly where I envision. Where do you live?
I live in Wheatley Heights.
Wheatley Heights? You live in Brooklyn?
No.
Where's Wheatley Heights?
It's in between Wyandanch, Dix Hills.
We're neighbors. Park. Oh my God, I live in Huntington.
See? Well, I used to work over at Walt Whitman Mall, and I would go to Panera Bread all the time. And I would put a name down, and they would screw up my name every single time. So after that happened, I would give them different names like Frank Footer, Fred Flintstone, George Costanza.
Right? Oh my God.
Yeah. Until one time she couldn't pronounce one of the names. She was like, El Negro Grande, come here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
El Negro Grande.
Yeah, that's actually the name. That's actually the name on my pad is El Negro Grande. Like,
yeah, if you ever write a book about yourself or there's a movie made about you. Actually, you know what? That's the next question. If there was ever going to be, thank you, Teresa. If there was ever going to be a movie made about you, who would you pick to play you? A comedy? Who would you pick to play you?
To play me? Myself? think I'm still young enough to play myself. I'm not sure, but I think I could pull it off. I played 21 years old in the last movie that I was in. So
yeah, you look very young. How old are you?
No,
I get it.
I'm I don't want to say it and then people start aging me.
I never tell people my real age. I could be 60,
Yeah.
never even know it. 60-year-old.
But we are close in age.
Yes, we're close. Yeah, we're definitely close. I'm gonna stop.
Because I heard you say something one time, and I was like, "Oh," because I went to Half Halloween.
Yeah, I'm too honest about my age. Like guys will ask me like, "Cause I'm single," and guys will ask me like, "How old are you?" And I'm totally honest. And they're like, "Oh, all right, I'll see you next year when you're 40, when everything's over."
I'm still trying to get 20-year-old movie roles. So like,
you can get that. I mean, come on. Luke Perry had Luke Perry was 40, and I think he was playing an 18-year-old, wasn't he?
Stacey Dash was 50, and she was still playing a teenager.
Yeah. So, even the people from Saved by the Bell, my God. All right, next crazy question.
Okay.
You told us that you bombed on stage. Have you ever witnessed someone else totally tank on stage without mentioning names? Like totally fucking tank. Like, wow.
Have I? I don't pay attention to people's sets. It's been that long. I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention to some. If somebody like, here's the thing for me, right? If somebody's bombing, which happens to best of them, right? If somebody's bombing and I know they're bombing, I'm probably laughing because it's not going well. And they know it's not going well. And I'm trying to help them with the laughter, but I know like these jokes aren't going over. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember anybody really like bombing, like really eating it. Yeah. And like me, like, you know, because I probably wasn't in the room.
I hear a lot of comics say that, like, you know, sometimes like I'll ask like certain comics like, oh, you know, so how did you do whatever. I always try to watch, like if I'm producing a show and someone else is hosting, I'll watch and see what happens. But I don't judge people based off of, you know, if you're on one of my shows, I know you're funny and I know that, you know, you're capable of doing it. Sometimes it's just, you know, that kind of night. Depends on the order you go. It depends on a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know,
like so I bombed on TV before, so I bombed on TV before, so
you did.
You know, it is what it is. Yeah, early in my career, I've told the story many times before, but I'll tell you and people watching. When my first year in comedy, yeah, I got put on a show. The show was called Coming to the Stage on BET, and it was like. How can I explain it? It was like American Idol for comics. This is before Last Comic Standing. It's before Last Comic Standing. So anyway, they got a whole bunch of us, and I went on with my two other friends, and we did like this comedy routine on the show. And we normally do it with music. The day of, they told us we couldn't do music. So we scrambling trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. We were put up first. We had no plan of what was going on. Now, our judges, we had 3 judges. One of them was Kim Coles from Living Single.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other 2 judges were Judge Maybelline from Divorce Court and Judge Joe Brown.
Oh, that's my homeboy. I love Joe. I love him.
Oh yeah, he got back in his seat like this. Yeah. He so basically what ended up happening was we got on there and it was very dry. It was a very tough moment. And we didn't get a lot of laughs at all. We almost got kicked off. But somebody felt bad for us, so they didn't push their buzzer like right away to get us off. So anyway, it was just a tense day. But when they aired it on TV, they put crickets, they put pictures of people sleeping.
Oh.
Like They like made it look so bad. They put it at the end of the show. Like it was really, yeah. What was worse was the day after it aired, I'm in the gas station and somebody comes up to me and says, "Yo, you the dude from the show. What happened?"
You had your own Joker moment.
They go, "What happened?"
But I think that sometimes when something like that happens, you get more recognition for failing or bombing than you do sometimes with, being really awesome.
Well, I was lucky that this was before YouTube.
Yeah. Oh God, because that would go down in history worse than the N-word video.
You can't find this. Yeah, you can't find this video anywhere.
Oh my God.
Like I'm the only person with the copy. I'm the only person with the copy.
Don't put it out there. Burn it. Burn it at the stake.
Yeah.
Have you ever been heckled?
Yeah.
Have? Was it by a man or a woman?
Always men, mostly. Yeah. Sometimes it's women when it's like a bachelorette party. But the worst heckle I got was the time with Richard Jenny where I bombed. And it bothered me because I was heckled and I came at the heckler really hard and then I forgot all my jokes.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is like I just started in comedy. I was cocky, I told you. It happens. But normally, like if somebody's heckling me, if somebody's heckling me now, I can handle them. Like it's not an issue. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I don't remember any heckles. I normally talk to the crowd anyway. So
yeah, you do. You definitely do.
I like talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes them feel, and that's another, to answer your question further, that's another reaon why I do theme shows, is because it engages people. This way they kind of know like what they're getting. I like to combine different types of shows like comedy.
Fat people, Vag Spookies.
Vag Spooky, yeah. I mean, sometimes, I did get a couple question marks. They were like, "Oh, is this going to be a show about all vaginas?" And I'm like, "No, but there's going to be all."
I would love a show about vaginas.
Right? Crazy. You have a favorite club that you like to perform in?
Favorite club that I like to perform in?
Like a place that's just like home.
I used to. I used to love performing at Eastville Comedy Club. Back when it was on East 2nd and 4th Street. Mm-hmm. And I used to love that club because that was like, when like you had that beginning club that you used to like always be at. I was always there. Like I have tons of pictures of me there, fresh face, no beard. Like I was
to the world.
Like I was 19 when I started, so like I look like a baby, like in all the pictures that I have from like different like clubs that I went to back then. But like, especially Eastville, because everybody knew that that was the only club that I used to be at all the time.
Yeah.
And then I started producing shows there.
The first time I ever performed at Governor's, I really felt like, oh my God, wow. Like but I would think that the one stage that I definitely do want to get on one day is definitely Gotham. I don't know what it is about that stage. Yeah, I just love the room. I love the room, and I have to get on that stage one time before I die.
Gotham's a decent club. My club, I always used to love New York Comedy Club on a Friday night. Yeah. That was always my favorite. And then sometimes, like I said, Governors too. There's times when I don't like going to the city all the time. Yeah. I would rather perform in a club on Long Island.
Just stay home, yeah. The city, I need to get out to the city more because I used to live in Brooklyn, and this would have been perfect had I, started doing comedy, and I would have been able to just be back and forth, but I never would have met so many great people here on Long Island. But definitely when this is over, I'm definitely going.
Yeah, honestly, you become a better comic in the city. Like you and this is kind of controversial, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me for saying this, so I'm going to say it. Long Island is more like known for being a destination or road club or road place. Okay. The places where you get known, seen, and get critiqued by your peers is New York City. Okay. That's when like your jokes work. Like the way that you operate in New York is different from the way you operate in Long Island, Jersey, wherever else. Like it sharpens your skills up for when you get to Comedy Central, when you get to wherever your plateau is, whatever's your end game.
Right.
New York sharpens you for it. And there's like, you do like 2-3 shows a night, you know, just so you can get better and better at your craft, you know, but you got to be at it every single day.
Well,
yeah, I know.
I mean, I definitely, you know, I definitely want to start. I mean, I haven't done a live I wrote a whole slew of new jokes, but why I have the time now, because I'm obviously not going back to work anytime soon. You know, I don't think any of us are, but I definitely want to, you know, keep working on sets.
Thanks for being so positive.
Well, I know. I was positive before. You were like, are you ready for the $1 million question?
$1 billion question, okay.
The $1 million question that most people get very shy about answering, and it's totally fine. I completely get it. It's one of the toughest questions. Okay. People tune in to get the answers to this question. At least they will. Which comic, famous or non-famous, would you
Kristen
take
Tinsley.
Oh. I'm going to write that down on my list for later. Yeah. Nigel said he would.
See, that was easy. I already knew the answer. I already knew the answer. You're my type too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You see my girlfriend.
She is very beautiful. She's extremely beautiful. But yes, no, yes. Yeah. All right. That's awesome. I like that. Thank you. That's very flattering. I will never answer that question ever. Never. But everyone else gets on the show will. I can't believe we're neighbors. I didn't know we lived this close to each other.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what's the future going to be like for you? What are you going to do once we're like released out of this gate?
Future for me, hopefully I'm trying to transition and do more stuff like this, like we're doing right now.
Oh yeah.
I bought a whole bunch of podcast equipment. That's why I have this microphone here. It's hooked up to a Rode Podcaster Pro.
You wanted to do the diet show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did. I did have one. I had a so I used to do it was 2 fat guys that gave out health advice. The name of it was called the Sweaty Contest Podcast. And we did it for like 2 or 3 years. And then we brought apart Adrienne Hamilton, who is from Huntington. I don't know if you know her.
Actually, I have heard the name. Yes.
Okay. So we all like would do this show together, and we would talk about health advice, doing this, challenging each other to like yoga or like trying seaweed for the first time, or like, you know, diet stuff.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, diet stuff. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I have the Fresh Sleeve of Bariatrics. I've actually reached out to a couple people today on Instagram to see, you know, if they'd like to, you know, be a guest on the show, and they just were like, no. Like, maybe when this is all over. And I'm like, well, the time is now, you know, to get on shows like this. But I mean, that show is, when you try to deal with people on a holistic level, and you try to, like, you know, talk to people about, you know, better foods and better health, and, you know,
that's what we did. It started from just a joke, and then it evolved into like us talking about body positivity for like for women and for men, because a lot of men don't talk about how they feel insecure, like, you know, when they have to wear that t-shirt in the pool. You know,
I was a t-shirt in the pool girl all the time.
Yeah. Or if you're in an R&B group and you're the one guy that doesn't have his shirt off.
Oh, horrible. Oh my God. No, I mean, I find it hard sometimes even to come across male patients that have had bariatric surgery, because I feel like they go through the process, they have the surgery, and then they're just really quiet about it. And I'm like, why? Like, I want to know at what point, you know, during your weight loss journey, were you able to see your dick again? Like, I really want to know.
You know, I have a friend that did this surgery, and he talks about it all the time on his Instagram.
Right.
It's been years since he did it. He was like a vanilla Biggie Smalls. Like, he was really big, and he went and got a sleeve, and like, all health is wealth. Like, he's all talking about, like, you know, running and Transformation Tuesdays and doing all this other stuff. Like he's what Anthony DiDomenico will be.
Anthony DiDomenico killed it. And I like to, it's not just about bariatrics, because like some people think, oh, you're advocating for surgery. I'm not. It's just something that I did. There's a reason why I did it. Because my food addiction was completely 100% out of control. Like it was really, really bad. And anyone that's ever had any addictions out there knows what I'm talking about when you get out of control. And I was going to kill myself. I was eventually going to die from overeating. Like it was inevitable.
Did you feel like it was associated to like your feelings, like how you were inside?
If I had gotten help, if I had gotten psychological help prior to getting surgery, I think I probably still would have made the same decision to have surgery, but you do need that mental work is very important, because I had started going to see the psychiatrist and going to the group meetings and stuff like that way before surgery, way before. So I had started to realize that a lot of things I was doing was because of emotions that I wasn't processing. And then once I had the surgery, my brain wasn't focused on food 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single minute of the day. I was able to actually process a lot of things that I was stuck on. So that's, and comedy, I can honestly sit here and say that comedy helped a lot, because I came into comedy at my heaviest, well over 400 pounds when I came into comedy. And I just knew that, and it helped to talk about it and get it out there and put myself out there. Because I never, I mean, as insecure as I may be, sometimes or whatever, I grew up in this body. I've taken it all the way up to 525 pounds, and I've gotten it down to, to 290.
Make it sound like it's a car. Yeah, I'm going to rev this up to 520. Then I'm going to ease it back to 460. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but that's true. It's crazy, but I think that that's very funny, and I applaud Anthony, because it's not easy. It's not like, especially when you do it in the public eye.
Like for me, like I wanted to do the same thing too. Like I was going to do a weight loss show, like where it's like I feel like only fat people tell other fat people how to lose weight. I feel like they take it better from them than somebody who's already in shape. Like if you take it from somebody who's already flawed, who's not perfect, it's better. So my thing was I was gonna go to do different things and try to find out other ways for fat people to get moving, get in shape, do whatever. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna still do it. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but I was like, I want to, I have every single exercise book in my house. Yeah, I have all the balls, all the weight stuff. My issue is that I keep getting in relationships. I keep getting fatter. So that happiness weight.
That's a big part of it. I mean, even going forward, in a relationship, that's one of the biggest things that happens when you have weight loss surgery. When you change any part of your life, is your partner that you're currently with going to be on board with that? So even when I start to go out, dating now, I got to find a guy that is along the lines, because it's very easy to fall back into let's just order a pizza and cuddle on the couch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the desire to not be overweight, outweighs that.
I used to date a girl who didn't like the fact that I was losing weight at one point, and she was very insecure about it.
Yep.
And she would be so mad when I would order water instead of a soda.
Yeah.
Or one time I had zucchini around her and she was like, ugh. No. And she would be the worst when I was trying to better myself, and I had gone down a good 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And I stopped because I couldn't take her and her every time I would do something, and ended up gaining back the weight. So,
it's abuse. I had a boyfriend that I dated for 7 years. That's how I got up to 525 pounds, because I was miserable in that relationship, and I was definitely not anywhere near 500 pounds when I met him. And I'm not saying it's his fault. It's just that I ate the food to process the feelings of not wanting to be with him.
Right.
So I made myself as undesirable as I possibly. I mean, my life was really, really bad. It was a mess. I was nowhere near anywhere the person I am today.
Look at you now.
Look at me now, you know. But he would say things like, "Oh, if you ever lost weight, I'm gonna tie you to the bed and stuff donuts down your throat," or he would go and like intentionally buy things and leave it there. And see how long it took for me to eat the ice cream, or you know, he'd bring me ice cream every night. I mean, I was just like this. It was bad. But he did not want to go walking with me. He didn't want to do anything. If I tried to lose weight or if I tried to anything, immediately he would just, I mean, if I wore makeup, if I did anything, immediately he would just say, you know, what are you trying to look better for? What are you trying to, it's abuse. It's abuse and it's insecurity. And it's just, and then even like some guys will be like, well, you might want to date me now, but then when you lose weight, you're not going to want me anymore. And it's like, well, what do you mean? If there's any person that can understand what it's like to like a person, it doesn't matter your size, you know? Yeah, I'm sure she did say that. I hope she's, you know.
Yeah, she said she would leave me if I lost a whole bunch of weight. She said that. So I was like,
I get that from guys. I was
like, too. Really?
Right. Yeah, guys that like big girls, they're like, well, if you're going to lose weight like that, or you want plastic surgery, or like, I'm not going to want you. And I'm like, really? Like, really? That's awful. And it's how many people have we seen even in the public eye in the entertainment industry that have, you know, have started like Lisa Lampanelli. She was huge and then she lost all that weight. Fluffy, you know, losing all that weight. And it's just, you know, it's the scrutiny. It's almost a given. I'm surprised that the girl, what's that show? She's really heavy. This Is Us, the show that people like to cry to.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know her name.
I feel really bad for her because she's at a, you know, I'm hoping that, but it's kind of become a persona. It's become a character. And, you know, I mean, what if you had to have a career choice that you had to stay fat? What would you do? I mean,
as long as you're healthy in the mid-season, you know, as long as, like, my thing is, as long as you're healthy, as long as like you can maintain a healthy weight, you know, it shouldn't matter.
It should matter. Yeah. But I mean, sometimes being fat, being cast as the fat character.
Oh, I've been cast as the fat character plenty times.
Yeah. I hate that. Like as a writer, like if it's not as important to me for somebody to be fat, like why does this person need to be fat? Like, is there a certain element in the story that would involve this person being fat?
Right.
I wrote a story called Only in a Fat Girl's World where they get abducted by aliens and all their fat cells get sucked out of them. The next day they wake up looking like supermodels.
Right.
Because the aliens thought that their fat cells were like these little creatures that they send to planets to eat everything on the planet. And when they saw the girls overeating, like stuffing their faces with donuts, and they saw the fat cells, they thought that the little alien guys were inside of them. So they took out all the fat cells. Completely unrealistic, totally crazy story.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the fat girl stories. But it's crazy. I never really talked to anybody that, you know, before. I never really talked to other fat people to figure out how they felt. And I'm sorry that I didn't do that. It wasn't on purpose, but I just thought, okay, well, what do they know? But now I'm a holistic nutritionist and people feel more comfortable talking to me because I understand, and you're not going to get away with shit. Like I know exactly what you're thinking when you're going for that piece of cake, or I know, you know, you're not getting
exactly. And that's why I feel fat people need to confide in other fat people. We need to start a union.
We do.
There's more of us.
We can make back our money.
Exactly. There's more of us than there are skinny people.
Exactly. We should band together and charge them all union dues.
We are 90% of Planet Fitness.
Exactly. We should. I mean, they used to have those gyms back in the day. We should have a gym for only fat people. That's what we should have.
It's Planet Fitness. It's 90% of us.
Really? I've never been into a Planet Fitness ever.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they just don't market it. Justin McDonald says we need to definitely start a union. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna start a fat person union. You know how much shit we would get? Even if we just did it as a joke and put it out there, like just to see like what people would say.
We'll have the trainers for The Biggest Loser talking shit about it. Jillian Michaels will say, there's nothing funny about diabetes.
No, she's shunned now because she made fun of Lizzo. She's shunned now because she made fun of Lizzo. She said that Lizzo was unhealthy.
I mean, yeah, I like Lizzo, but Lizzo need to chill sometimes. I'm sorry. I love Lizzo. You know, she's a little much.
And I don't like, you know, because then when people see, I don't like being associated with that because oh, you're a big woman or you're trying to be like Lizzo. Like I was, you know,
Lizzo's trying to be like Rihanna, and I get it,
right?
But there's certain places you ain't gotta be. Rihanna's not gonna be Rihanna. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I get it. I feel like you know it that's the type of attention that you know that keeps her around and keeps it, but eventually she's gonna do something that's gonna be crazy.
But you're doing this. Here's my problem. You're doing this because you want attention, right?
Right.
And then when you get the attention and it's negative, then you're like defensive. Oh, you guys don't like big women. No, it's not that we don't like big women. We love big women. Mm-hmm. We love plus size women. Yeah. It's just the way that you're doing it.
The way you're doing it.
We don't really care for.
Right. And it would be the same thing if a skinny woman was doing it. It would be the same thing. You know, like if it works the same way. It doesn't have anything to do with weight. It doesn't have anything to do with that. But also, she comes from a culture where it's okay to do certain things like that.
And that's
you know,
cool.
It's okay to wear certain clothes or
that's
whatever.
Cool.
You know,
but
I never did. But
yeah,
I don't care.
I think she does it. I think she does it because she thinks that all press is good press. I think she's doing it just for the press.
Right. Just to be in the papers, the next outrageous thing. But that's how they all got famous. I mean, Kim Kardashian,
exactly.
Britney Spears, that's how they all got, you know, famous. You know, nobody cared that Britney was going completely crazy and like willing to like lose her children. Like that was whatever, you know, that's what it was. So I don't know. This is crazy, but this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got to talk more about the Fat People podcast because I definitely
that union struggle. Get on that right now. Find a name.
You know, Justin.
Give us a theme song.
Justin, exactly. Justin is another multi-talented comic out there with the rap and everything. Anytime he did that little short comic commercial that I did for the fat version, the first one. That one was great. Wait, was he in that one? No, he was on that show. He wasn't in that comic commercial. No, he wasn't. No, he was in the second one. He got punched in the face by Chris Cuff. He got punched in the face by a fairy.
Gotcha.
But listen, hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. I'm telling you, a year from now, if not sooner, I'm gonna be in the movie theater eating popcorn and candy. And I'm gonna be like,
Corey Hawkins.
Oh shit! It's Corey Hawkins. No, it's Nigel.
That's exactly what happened in the middle of Huntington.
My God. And you were probably the only black person in there.
I was, and I had to pick up the food underneath the name she called me. And I just felt so bad. I was like, did anybody else hear that? And
can I get a piece of extra bread for you embarrassing me like that? You crazy.
No, they couldn't even do that for me.
She didn't give you a piece of extra bread to soak up your tears. Jeez.
Yeah.
The humanity. She was probably in love with you. That's probably what it was.
Probably was.
Probably. You know. All right, man. Let's end this. I'm so happy. Thank you for sticking it out with me. I mean, how many tries did it take us? Like 4 tries?
Couple tries. Yeah.
But definitely, definitely come back on again, and we will have some fun. And thank you for picking me as the comic that you would take to bed. I'm totally flattered by that.
Course.
I love it.
Of course.
Hopefully your girlfriend.
If anybody doesn't say you and
yeah, what the hell?
You're right there. Like I feel like
not a dare thing. Like go ahead and say it.
I feel like we would have to say it, you know. Yeah.
All right, Nigel. Thank you so much for being on In Bed with Comics. I should have taped this. Why didn't I tape? Actually, you know what? I'm glad I didn't tape it.
Okay.
Because then we would go down in history as talking. I'm sure that DB Frick is well aware of our conversation right now. He's willing to come for us both.
I didn't say anything bad about Frick at all. So I mean,
we didn't say anything bad. All we did was comment on the situation that's been out there. So whatever. He's not gonna get mad. He's not gonna get mad. I haven't talked to DB Frick in a long time. Actually, no. He came to my birthday show and he wished me happy birthday. I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Did he offer you a drink too?
No. He knows better than to do that. My sister was over there. My sister would beat the shit out of him. In 2 seconds, my sister was right there. She saw him walk in. She was like,
I feel like he's always dressed like a sleazy Starbucks owner.
oh man. A sleazy Starbucks owner. Starbucks is losing a lot of money being closed. Starbucks is going to lose a lot of money. We should start doing stand-up comedy shows in Starbucks. Just pop up stand-up comedy shows in Starbucks.
They normally call the cops when I walk in the building.
Oh, I'll let them call the cops. The cops can watch the show. They can tape it on their camera. Be like, listen, can I get your body camera so I can put that on my YouTube channel? Great. All right, Nigel. Let's get some sleep, man.
All right.
I'm not gonna go to sleep. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I'll see you soon.
Anytime.
All right, cool. Good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Sorry if you missed it, but yeah, we were on here for quite some time.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we off?